Okay, so we're going to go over some exponent rules, in particular the product and the quotient rules today. Alright, so the first rule, when we multiply numbers and variables that have exponents, we really are just adding the exponents. Okay, so when we multiply numbers and variables that have exponents or with exponents, we really are just adding the exponents. Alright, so if we take a look at this example, 2 times 4 is 8. We're just multiplying these numbers together first. And then we have x. This is basically x to the first power and x to the third power. Well, 1 plus 3 is 4. So x to the first power times x cubed is 8x to the fourth power. Okay, we just added 1 and 3. Alright, so we look here. 2 times 5 is 10. We multiply the numbers. X squared times x to the third. 2 plus 3 is 5, so we get x to the fifth. And then y cubed times y to the seventh. 3 plus 7 is 10. So we get 10x to the fifth, y to the 10th. Okay, the next rule. When we divide numbers and variables with exponents, we really just subtract the exponents. So we're just subtracting this time. We're still going to divide the numbers normally, but the exponents are going to be subtracted from our variables. So first we have 4 over 1, which is the same thing as 4. And we have x cubed and x. Well, this is x to the first power. 3 times 1 is 2, so we get x squared. Okay, over here, 6 divided by 3 is 2. And we have x cubed, x squared. 3 minus 2 is 1, so we're left with x to the first power. And then y to the 10th over y to the 4th. 10 minus 4 is 6. So we get y to the 6th power. There is my answer for that. Okay, so let's look at some more examples. We have 4x cubed over 7x to the 5th. So 4 divided by 7 really can't be simplified, so we're just going to put 4 over 7. And then notice on this one, the x cubed is smaller than the x to the 5th. So if we did 3 minus 5, that would actually give us a negative on the top, a negative exponent. We don't like negatives. So basically, we just kind of picture that these two numbers go into a battle. And this guy brings 5 troops, and this guy brings 3 troops. Well, these 3 troops get defeated by 3 of his troops, and there are 2 left. So really, there's 2 left, and the bottom troops are the ones that won. Or in other words, you're going to take the bigger exponent and subtract the smaller exponent. So 5 minus 3 is 2, and it stays on the bottom because that's where the biggest exponent was originally. So let's do that again. So we have 3 over 4, so we're just going to keep the 3 and the 4. Okay, here we have x to the first power and x squared. Well, the squared is bigger than the 1, so 2 minus 1 is 1. And since the bigger exponent was on the bottom, we're going to stay on the bottom. We got y squared over y to the 8th. We're going to do 8 minus 2. And since the 8 was on the bottom, the result is going to stay on the bottom as well. So I would get 3 over 4x to the first, y to the 6th. Okay, now this problem here is almost like 2 problems in one, because if you notice, we have a multiplication. So the first thing I'm going to do is multiply before I get into the division. So 2 times 2 is 4. Y to the 4th times y squared is y to the 6th. And then we have an x squared and no other x's on top. Now if you notice, I wrote x second and y, or x before y. That's just because typically when we write in standard form, we also write in alphabetical order. So x comes before y. That's why I wrote it that way. Okay, so below here, we just bring over our 3xy cubed. Now for the answer, 4 divided by 3, well, we're just going to leave it as 4/3. X squared and then x, 2 minus 1 is 1, goes on top. Y to the 6th, y to the 3rd, 6 minus 3 is 3, so that's going to stay on the top. And I get 4xy cubed over 3 for my final answer. Okay? Alright, there is a problem on your assignment, it's number 14, that some students have troubles with. So if you look here, we got 2 divided by 2, which is actually a 1. If we ever do this and we get a whole number, we're just going to put that whole number on the top of our fraction. So we get a 1 on the top. Okay, next we have y squared, and notice we have a y squared here. So what's 2 minus 2? Well, that's 0. So my y's disappear. So 2 divided by 2 turned into a 1. Y squared, whoa, what just happened? Y squared and y squared, they disappear. They cancel each other out. And so we're left with that x squared. So we're just going to bring that over, and there's my answer. So if I ever get a whole number, like a 2 divided by 2, or if it was 6 divided by 2, let's do 6x squared, x squared, y to the third. 6 divided by 2 is 3. I'd put the 3 in the top. The x squared would cancel out, and the y cubed doesn't do anything. It would just stay in the bottom. So if you ever get a whole number from the division, you just keep it in the top. All right. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I'll be happy to help.